Police officers are already being targeted for assassination. Stand with law enforcement. Defend the police.
We will put you behind bars at the MARCENO Motel. It's that simple.
I want to tell you what I am doing as your sheriff. What that means is that we immediately are utilizing our helicopter, stop sticks, drones, barricades, all hands on deck, everything we have to make certain that we win. We are going to pursue bad people in this county and make certain they go behind bars where they belong. I am fully engaged and razor sharp on the mission for you. Thank you for trusting in me and putting your faith in me to be your sheriff. Those 1%ers, those thugs that are coming here from other places, they will learn that Lee County don't play and we win no matter what.
My responsibility or your responsibility or anyone else who has information that shows violations of the law. Should we not report that? And as the sheriff, should he not be answering to it? When you're the sheriff, the most important thing you can do is uphold the law and be within the law yourself.
That is the former Lee County Sheriff Rod Shope calling out the current appointed sheriff, CARMINE MARCENO, for not answering a simple question. Four in Your Corner first asked him over the summer. It's about his qualifications to work as a law enforcement officer in Florida.
Well, tonight I've uncovered new information from Marceno's application to the Collier County Sheriff's Office. Back then, employment screeners recommended, quote, automatic disqualification from consideration because Marceno admitted to brief steroid use. Fox 4 was the only news station to investigate the sheriff's qualifications. I'll have more on that new revelation tonight at 10. Meanwhile, former deputies are coming forward with their concerns about the person holding one of the most powerful positions in Lee County. A former Lee County sheriff, major, and lieutenant, all with a common call for action. What should Carmine do?
Resign. There's enough smoke that where there's that much smoke, there's also fire. I would recommend that he resign.
Enough smoke that now the Ethics Commission has recently opened an investigation into allegations the appointed sheriff has abused his power to meet women. While Marceno shows no signs of resigning, Shope tells me that since our original report, Marceno hired a lawyer. I did confirm that he hired an employment attorney out of Tallahassee. I called that lawyer, but he said he wasn't allowed to comment since this is an open investigation. There is also now a separate criminal investigation into Marceno from the state's top policing agency, Florida Department of Law Enforcement, looking into whether Marceno met the qualifications to sit for his Florida law enforcement exam. In other words, was he ever eligible to work in law enforcement in this state?
Carmine.
Retired Major Carmen McKinney has plenty of experience with these claims from his time working in internal affairs at the Lee County Sheriff's Office.
This is conduct that I investigated for many years, and we held those people accountable for that conduct. And those people were terminated for the very behavior that Mr. Marceno was displaying.
Even if he passed the test? The state certification test?
Wouldn't matter. The Form 76, the EOT training form, it was fraudulent.
Don't you think the people of Southwest Florida...
As Fox 4 first reported in July of this year, the equivalency of training form allows out-of-state officers who have worked full-time for at least 1 year to bypass almost 800 hours of police academy when they come to the Sunshine State. Our research showed Marceno's experience in Suffolk County, New York, did not meet those requirements, but he was allowed to sit for his exam anyway.
You have to wonder, are there any more Carmine Marcenos in the state of Florida with inappropriate forms and shouldn't be certified? Even when I was the sheriff, I had one where that had happened, and we found it through a set of circumstances that were special, and of course I terminated him right away. And then the state also removed his credentials.
We obtained documents of that officer who was let go under Shope's tenure. FDLE found him to falsify documents in order to skip the EOT. The Criminal Justice Standards and Training Commission recommended disciplinary action based on several allegations, including, quote, respondent has failed to maintain qualifications established in Florida statutes, which require that a law enforcement officer in the state of Florida have good moral character. Dr. Lee Bouchong, former Lee County lieutenant who ran for sheriff, also laid out in a 94-page document addressed to state leaders, including the governor, as well as the public, the holes in the process by which Marceno landed his first law enforcement position. Bouchong includes a timeline of his career and a list of the statutes being violated. He told me he walked it over to the governor's office as well as the attorney general. The attorney general's office says they forwarded this complaint to FDLE. The governor has yet to respond to any requests for a comment.
Reached out to the governor's office several times.
The now professor at Florida A&M University points out, quote, a lifetime total of about 1,200 hours total experience as a law enforcement officer, far less than a year's worth of full-time experience.
Were you a Suffolk County, full-time Suffolk County Parks and Recreation Ranger?
Sir, I'm here for the Veterans Parade. I'm sorry if you could step aside, but thank you.
Can you grant us an interview, a formal interview? Sir, would you I understand that. Just, we've asked him a quick question. We've asked for a request.
We've asked the sheriff's office multiple times for an interview. Our news director asked their public information officer. So did our assignment manager. Our chief photographer tried asking him in person on a separate occasion. That's in addition to our own investigative team, including myself.
Put yourself in the place of the citizens home watching your newscast, and they see him not only refusing the answer, but literally running from a camera. How easy is this answer?
I later approached the sheriff to see if he had a response after our report. Jay Monreal from Fox 4 News. Can we talk?
Actually, I'm in the governor's thing, but another time for sure.
For sure?
Yeah.
Who can we confirm that with?
My PIO, thank you.
So I did, or tried to, through email and on the phone.
Good afternoon. My name is Jane Monreal, calling from Fox 4 News.
The sheriff or his staff have yet to respond.
Said that these allegations were already proven false in the past, and that anyone who comes up against him is saying the things they say because of political motivations.
As far as being political, I have no political agenda. I'm not supporting anybody. I'm not a political type person. But I will say this, that if this goes unchallenged, I will leave that option open.
Well, FDLE has investigated several cases involving other law enforcement officers around the state, falsifying documents as part of their application. And many of these state agencies ended up terminating those people. We've put several case studies on our website, fox4now.com, and we also included all the documents used in this story, as well as a link to our initial investigation that ran over the summer.
And we should also say, while both investigations are open right now, it's really important to note that since FDLE's investigation is actually classified as a criminal one because it stems from alleged fraud, Marceno can technically invoke the Fifth Amendment and decline to be interviewed to avoid self-incrimination. Now, 4 in Your Corner is going to stay on top of these two separate investigations going now into the sheriff to see what this means for Lee County and what it means for you in the coming months. But in the meantime, Jane, we do take our time with our investigations, both in laying them out so people can make their own decisions. But you found some other information that we can also lay out here. We can't throw it all into one story just because it's so much. But
Exactly.
You've got more.
Yeah, we just found this out in the past day. I've spent all day digging into more documents that I mentioned at the top of the newscast. We now know about admissions of illegal drug use, as well as a problem in the polygraph that Sheriff Marceno took early in his career applying for Collier County Sheriff's Office.
We will put you behind bars at the Marceno Motel. It's that simple. We will put you behind bars at the Marceno Motel. It's that simple.
Well, Lee County Sheriff Carmine Marceno is running for re-election, and when our crew spoke to the sheriff last night, he made some claims about how much safer Lee County has become since he was picked for the job. Take a listen.
In 2020, when I was elected, I gave it my all, and we've done great things along the way. We're now third safest city in the nation. We were number 6 worst. We had 121 positions down. Now we're fully staffed with a waiting list. The results are there. I'm proud to say I'm running in full force.
And now Wink News is asking just how accurate those claims were. Let's bring in Wink News reporter Gail Levy. Gail, what'd you find out?
Well, Russ, what I can tell you is that crime in Lee County has decreased every year since 2011. But as for rankings like the 3rd safest in the city or 6th worst, well, the Florida Department of Law Enforcement told me those rankings won't come from them. We know Lee County Sheriff Carmine Marceno loves to talk the talk.
And I make it my top priority to protect the great residents of Lee County,
and show people walking the perp walk,
who I like to call oxygen stealers.
He also likes to repeat a particular statistic and did so again during the kickoff of his re-election campaign Monday night.
In 2020, when I was elected, I gave it my all, and we've done great things along the way. We're now third safest city in the nation. We were number 6 worst.
I went to the sheriff's own Facebook page and found he made the same statement back in December and again in March.
I'm proud to tell you we're now the 3rd safest city for violent crime. Independent numbers let out by the FBI and FDLE shows Lee County as the 3rd safest. Before I came into office, Lee County was ranked number 6 worst for violent crime. Not my numbers, independent numbers that are done by FDLE and the FBI.
But I have checked and checked, and I can't find that statistic anywhere. So I reached out to FDLE and the FBI. FDLE told me I need to verify that with the sheriff. So I emailed LCSO at 11:23 Tuesday morning, and so far, no response. Then I asked FDLE, is there any sort of ranking list I could find? Their response, FDLE does not make ranking lists. The FBI did get back to me, sending me this email, a link to its crime data reporter, and a warning against rankings. They say rough rankings provide no insight to the numerous variables that contribute to crime in a particular region, state, or county. And late today, I was able to speak with someone on Sheriff Marceno's re-election campaign. He told me he was away from his desk at the time, but he did believe those rankings specifically came from the FBI. Now, if I'm able to trace those statistics or if the sheriff's office gets back with me about how those rankings were figured out, I will let you know. For now, live at the Lee County Sheriff's Office, Gail Levy, Wink News.